between loyalty and truth, a family torn apart. I'm Melissa, a 26-year-old woman who never expected to have to pick between familial loyalty and doing the right thing. Until recently, I thought my life was on track. I was happily engaged to Bruce, a 28-year-old man I had planned to marry until a few weeks ago. But now, everything has changed because of a secret that has been tearing me apart. My 32-year-old brother, Derek, has always been my hero. Growing up, despite our 6-year age difference, we were inseparable. Derek was my defender. He taught me to ride a bike, stood up to bullies for me, and would sneak me out for ice cream when I was having a terrible day. When I didn't make it into the school choir at age 10, Derek, then 16, spent the entire evening making a Melissa's Awesome Mix CD with all of my favorite songs. He assured me that I didn't need a choir to be a star. That memory is one of my favorites because it captures the bond we shared. When Derek began dating Rachel in college, I was overjoyed. She soon became like a sister to me. Rachel, at 30, is one of the most sincere and kind individuals I know. When I was in high school, she would frequently come over to our house to hang out, assist me with homework, and even give me advice on boys. She was the one who taught me how to correctly apply cosmetics and helped me gain confidence in a variety of ways. Their wedding was a magnificent event that I still remember warmly. I recall thinking to myself how much I desired a love like theirs someday. Derek and Rachel have 2 children together, Ethan 5 and Lily 3. Their family appeared picture perfect, and I always liked how nicely they collaborated as a group. My fiancé Bruce and I have been together 5 years. We met at a friend's cookout, and I remember it like it happened yesterday. Bruce stepped in with a baked apple pie as I was helping set up the food table. He had flour on his shirt and appeared flustered, but his grin was warm and genuine. We began talking about our mutual passion of baking, and by the end of the evening we had exchanged phone numbers. Our relationship grew swiftly after that. Within 6 months, we were essentially living together, and 2 years later we moved into our own apartment. Bruce proposed 6 months ago during our first holiday together, a weekend trip to the beach. It was at sunset, with waves pounding behind us, and I thought it was ideal. We were planning our wedding for next summer, and I thought everything was coming into place. That was until last week, when I learned a secret that turned my life upside down. Derek and Rachel have been married for 7 years, and I've always felt their relationship was strong. We had a tradition every year for Derek's birthday. Rachel and I would give him an elaborate themed party. This year we planned a 90s themed party complete with a blockbuster video wall and a Nintendo 64 gaming station. Rachel and I were at their home preparing the surprise while Derek was at work. Rachel had gone upstairs to put the kids to bed, while I remained downstairs browsing for party items on Derek's laptop. That's when I noticed an email notification appear. The subject line read, "Recover story for Thursday night," and it came from Bruce. I knew I shouldn't have opened it, but my curiosity got the better of me. What I discovered made me feel awful. The email thread revealed that Bruce was assisting Derek in coordinating his meetings with another woman named Vanessa. Bruce was quite involved, suggesting places for them to meet, apologizing for Derek's absence, and even arranging hotel rooms on his behalf. I kept reading, my pulse thumping in my chest, until it was evident that this had been going on for months. Bruce was more than just a passive observer, he was complicit. The man I was about to marry allowed my brother to cheat on his wife, a lady who had become like a sister to me. I could not confront Rachel that night. I hurriedly closed the laptop and made up an excuse about feeling sick. I left their house, my head racing. The following few days were torturous. I tried to be normal around Bruce, but every time he touched me or said I love you, I became queasy. I could not sleep. I could not eat. I kept thinking of all the times Derek and Rachel had hosted us for dinner, family game evenings, and vacations, all of which now felt tainted by lies. After days of suffering, I eventually approached Bruce. I waited for him to get home from work and told him everything I knew about Derek's affair and his role. At first he denied it, but as I provided specifics from the emails, his countenance sank. He stated that he had been aiding Derek for roughly 8 months. Derek had told Bruce that he was dissatisfied in his marriage and drawn to Vanessa, a coworker. Bruce stated that he initially tried to talk Derek out of it, but when he discovered Derek was determined to continue the affair, he decided to help minimize the damage. He claimed he was only being a nice buddy and didn't want Derek to be exposed and hurt Rachel even more. He even tried to explain his actions by claiming that if Derek got it out of his system, he would recognize what he had with Rachel and quit his relationship with Vanessa. I was infuriated. I questioned Bruce how he could breach my trust-like way, and how he could accept Derek's betrayal of Rachel, with whom he had spent so much time, laughed, and shared meals. He attempted to explain, pleaded, but I couldn't hear him. This was not the Bruce I knew. This wasn't the man who hugged me while I grieved after my grandma died last year, or who surprised me with cooking classes for my birthday, because he knew I enjoyed experimenting in the kitchen. This was a stranger who could lie so simply and watch a family disintegrate without a trace of regret. I informed Bruce that I wanted space and requested him to stay with a friend for a bit. As soon as he went, I broke down. I sobbed for Rachel, Ethan, and Lily, for the brother I thought I knew, and for the future I expected with Bruce. I was devastated and puzzled. How could I proceed from here? Should I tell Rachel the truth? She deserved to know, but I was afraid of ruining her family. And how about my friendship with Bruce? Could I trust him again after this? The days that followed were blurred. I felt as if I were going through fog, unable to see a clear road ahead. My phone buzzed with texts from Bruce, apologizing and pleading for forgiveness, but I couldn't bring myself to respond. Every decision appeared to cause anguish to someone I cared about. After a week of worrying about what to do, I decided to tell Rachel the truth. She deserved to know, and I couldn't bear the guilt of hiding this from her. I invited her to my flat, and as soon as she arrived, I knew she sensed something was amiss. I invited her to sit down, took a big breath, and told her everything. I recounted how I had stumbled into the emails and how Bruce had assisted Derek in concealing his affair. I showed her the screenshots I had taken for proof. Rachel was devastated. At first, she refused to believe it. She continued shaking her head, tears flowing down her cheeks, muttering, "No, this can't be true," but as she read the emails, reality set in. She broke down, and I held her while she sobbed. I felt horrible, as if I was the one who had caused her anguish, but I knew she needed to hear the truth. The next 3 days were hectic. Rachel confronted Derek, who originally denied everything, but when she cited the emails and Bruce's involvement, he eventually admitted. It came out that the affair had been going on for about a year, considerably longer than I had previously assumed. Derek has moved out of the house and is staying with a friend. Rachel is still processing things, but she has already spoken with a lawyer about her possibilities and begun treatment to help her deal with the betrayal. I've been trying to help her as much as I can by watching the kids when she needs a break or simply sitting with her when she needs to talk. As for Bruce, I have decided to stop our relationship. Our trust is irreparably damaged. When I told him about my decision, he begged for another opportunity, stating he knew how wrong he was and would do whatever to make amends to me. He brought back all of our good memories, including our first date at the county fair, the time we got lost in a thunderstorm and ended up dancing in the middle of the street, and the night we sat up until 3 a.m., preparing our ideal home. But I couldn't get over the fact that he'd been lying to me for months while actively engaging in the devastation of my brother's family. I returned the engagement ring and requested Bruce to leave our shared flat. It's been tough. Coming home to an empty room, seeing the places where his things used to be, and the coffee mug he usually used still there in the cupboard, it's like a continual reminder of the life we were meant to have. My heart aches, and some days I am so enraged that I can't breathe. But then I think about Rachel and her children, and I realize I made the correct decision. My family is currently in turmoil. My folks are devastated. They can't believe what Derek has done, and they're having trouble accepting the fact that Bruce, whom they warmly welcomed into our family, played a role in it all. Derek is attempting to make amends, but Rachel is not ready to forgive him, and I doubt she ever will. I feel as if I've lost not only my fiancé, but also the brother I've admired my whole life. I'm not sure our family will ever be the same again. I'm still absorbing everything and trying to figure out where to go from here. I've started visiting a therapist and it's helping. I'm learning to set limits, accept that some things are beyond my control, and allow myself to mourn the loss of the future I believed I had. I've also reunited with former pals, hoping to develop a support system outside of my family. It's been a difficult few weeks, but I'm now starting to see light at the end of the tunnel. One thing is certain: I'm done with secrets and lies. If I've learned anything from this disaster, it's that telling the truth, no matter how difficult, is always preferable than living in a web of lies. And, while I have no idea what the future contains, I am resolved to meet it full on, with honesty and integrity. As I move forward, I understand that it will take time to heal, rebuild, and find peace in this new reality. But for the time being, I'm taking each day as it comes, hoping for better days ahead.